UNOWAS. He will say a few words and he will take your questions.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I have just concluded my presentation to the Security Council on the report of the Secretary General on the activities of UNOWAS. I also shared with the Security Council my assessment on the situation in West Africa and the Sahel region. My exchanges with the Council were frank and productive and reaffirmed the continued commitment of the international community to assist countries of the region, consolidate peace, and strengthen political stability. The situation in the region is cause for concern, but also provides glimmers of hope. In Liberia, an inclusive and transparent electoral process saw the peaceful alternation of power, serving as a good example for the region and showcasing Liberia's desire for political stability and a prosperous future. At the same time, 4 countries in the region are under transitional rule, representing a setback to principles of democratic governance. The security situation in the region is increasingly worrying, causing untold misery to local populations. Following the withdrawal of MINUSMA from Mali, there is a heightened risk that the country will become an epicenter of insecurity, with spillover into countries along the Gulf of Guinea. Meanwhile, the number of people in the Sahel requiring humanitarian assistance and protection has increased significantly, and thousands of schools remain closed due to insecurity. On a more positive note, I welcome the decisions of the 64th Ordinary Session of the Authorities of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, held on 10th of December 2023 in Abuja, Nigeria, which will pave the way for the resumption of dialogue between ECOWAS and the transition countries. In my interactions with the Security Council members, I emphasized 3 priority areas for the region. One is to assist countries in the region in their efforts to combat terrorism. In this regard, I welcome the adoption of the Security Council Resolution 2719 on financing of African Union-led peace support operations and look forward to its full implementation. And 2, the provision of tangible and long-term support to address the acute humanitarian needs of the region. And 3, support the youth through skills training and employment opportunities to mitigate against drivers of violence and unrest in the region. I will take now a few questions, if you can, please.
James Bays from Al Jazeera. Can I ask you specifically about Mali?
Yes.
Because for so long, a decade, MINUSMA was there in Mali. MINUSMA is gone now. How worried are you about the security situation? What is the presence now of Russian Wagner Group? And how worried are you that Mali could perhaps split up because of the violence taking place in the north of the country? And how worried are you about what could happen beyond Mali, coming from its borders?
Right. When Mali asked the Security Council for the withdrawal of the mission, they said that the government will take care of the security of the country. And we, up to now, it's too soon to make an evaluation of the security situation. If it is improving or not, this is we are going to follow up. The second aspect is that the modality of relationship between the United Nations are in 2 levels. One is the normal relations of having funds, programs, and operating for the assistance of the population across the country. This is working. So the country team is in good contact. They are working, they're doing their job. On other aspects of political nature, this is work in progress. We are in dialogue with the government of Mali to see in which aspect the UN can be supportive of the political aspects, because there are political parties, there are elections in preparations, there is a political life in the country, and therefore this is something we are still working on with the government of Mali.
What about those Russian, the Wagner fighters? Are they still operating in Mali, and do you think they are a positive presence or a negative one?
We don't have any objective assessment on that aspect. There are reports that they are operating alongside with the government of Mali, but also we have to bear in mind that any government is free to have their own military alliances or partnerships. So this is not the issue. Is that this presence are respectful or not of human rights, which is part of the obligations of the states in relation to their own citizens on that. So this is the aspect we are trying to pay attention on. There are reports which are conflicting, but we don't have confirmed issues. A lot of rumors abound, but we don't want to take any stand based on rumors.
Thank you. Evelyn Leopold. Apparently, it's not just Wagner Point 2, if they're still there, but there seems to be a militia every 2 feet with loyalties to someone or not loyalties, including to the government, to the president. How can the UN, how do you manage to cope with all of this when every time somebody wants to deliver aid or have a protection unit, you run into a different militia?
Yes, well, the security situation in Mali is very complex. We have to bear in mind that jihadists are very active in the country. And these jihadists, according to reports we have, are becoming more sophisticated and very better equipped to face the governments. So this poses also problems to the security of the populations. When we talk about the humanitarian problems of the country is faced with, part of the reason for that is the activities of these jihadists. But there are also a breakdown of the Algiers Agreement signed in 2015 between the government and the armed groups of the north. Our view as UN is that this agreement should be saved because it gives a platform for action, positive action of the government. If the government is not happy with that, let's sit down. Yeah, the parties which signed the agreement discuss on how better to improve its implementation. So we are encouraging both parties to work together towards peace and stability, but to come together also to fight terrorism, which is the main enemy.
Who are the parties? Who are the two?
I would say the government on one hand, but also with the armed groups of the north.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
so much.